The author Emma Gannon tweeted last week that the year is 2096 and we are still discussing the merits of the 4-day week. Well, it certainly appeared quite heavily back on the agenda after COVID. There are various countries, Iceland's done a trial, there are trials going on in the UK at the moment, that are trying out different ways of working, including the 4-day week. Now, just to be clear, we are not talking about the version where women have a baby, get Fridays off work, get 80% of their pay, still actually cover exactly the same number of things, don't get promoted, and people wander around going, yeah, but is she really committed? This is a version instead where everyone, or pretty much everyone, is 4 days a week by default. The usual model cited is that you do 80% of the hours that you would normally do, so Monday to Thursday, for 100% of the pay. There are other versions. Atom Bank, which is a bank that you use through your phone, is trialling a version where you work an extra hour for the 4 days and then you get the 5th day off. The idea behind it is that it's brilliant for attracting and retaining talent, that people get extra time, that it's good for burnout. It's great for productivity because what people tend to do is organise their diaries to ditch unnecessary meetings, unnecessary admin, not waste time, just get it, go in, do their job and go home, which all sounds really appealing and sensible and definitely a theme that we talk about a lot around boundaries. The problem I have with it is that when I go back to my own experience of how I work, and of course I decide my own time and run my own business, when I'm really honest with myself, I know that I am more productive in short bursts over more days. So actually the most productive way I could probably run my business would be to do 4 or 5 hours every day, even over 6 days, than it would be to do longer days for 4 days. However, if you were employing me, I would much prefer to do 4 days, get it done, and have a 3-day weekend. And that for me is quite a significant understanding of how our rhythms work and whether we're thinking about hours that you're being paid for or your actual productivity and what you deliver to the bottom line and the business. The other question that comes to me is, what do you want to do with your 3-day weekend? Because if you have some burning goal to train as a trapeze artist, to practice for the Great British Bake Off, to spend time with your mum, great. If, however, you're a parent or carer and actually the school day or nursery day or whatever else you're doing fits better with a 5-day week, it may be a disadvantage to you. Now, Joe, who's the campaigner for the 4-day week, makes the case that we should just change the whole economy to match that.
Across society, in the same way that we moved from a 6-day week to a 5-day week 100 years ago. Teachers are at a breaking point because of the workload, tens of thousands of teachers leaving their jobs every year, and they all say work-life balance is the number one reason they're leaving.
And superficially, that also sounds appealing to me, but it also makes me think, well, we know that learning comes by little and often as well. So I'm not sure that children are going to learn brilliantly over a 4-day week. It strikes me as likely, if we did the research, that a 5-day week would work better. Employers considering it, I would be questioning whether we're considering more around time or whether it's about outputs that really matter to you, whether you have a problem with talent attraction and retention and whether this is a good solution for you. It may well be. And also how your own team feels about it.
The experience of going remote, having to figure out how to work under these conditions, made it possible for many companies to adopt practices, figure out how to use technologies or collaborative tools or tighten up meetings that then made it possible for them to move to a 4-day week precisely at a time when their people really, really needed it. And I think that it showed people and companies are able to change how they work faster and more profoundly than we ever thought possible.
I think it's very much horses for courses, but I've got to be honest, for this horse, it doesn't feel like the right answer. Now, I've got a big and profound question for you this week, and you may think I've taken leave of my senses. Some of my friends have been to see a spiritualist. I know it wasn't what you expected me to say. I'm all for the rational. However, they come back with such reports of revelations, of greater perception, different worldviews, that I'm considering whether spiritualism should have any role in business. Do you have a view? Should I go and see her? I'm interested in your ideas. Or should I perhaps instead leave my poor great Auntie Celia in peace? You let me know. See you next Friday.